Welcome back, traders, for another backtesting session. So last week you saw the results for September was not good. Pretty much only took like 5 trades for the whole month, and practically every single one of them were losses. I suspect the election year has something to do with it. So going into October, want to be a little bit more careful because we still have the election going on, and it could just be another consolidating month. And as you can see on the higher time frame here, this is the daily chart. We are bouncing back and forth between this weekly BISI and this weekly SIBI. You can see last week we pretty much just stayed in between these two. We stayed in the upper half of the weekly BISI, so that is a little bit of a signal for me to say that we may be going up higher. As long as we go above this weekly SIBI here in like this beige color or some tan, yellow, orange, brown, whatever you call it, I think we can make a run for this high and perhaps even all-time high, but we definitely need to start going up above here. And until we do, we're going to be very careful, try to have a neutral bias. And as you saw from last week, I was a little bit impatient and also broke a rule for non-farm payroll. So let's not try to break any rules. Let's try to stick with the model and just trade good. All right, so Monday, October 7th, and we will be back testing the 7th through the 11th this time around. On the 1 hour chart, we do have relative equal lows here. This is going to be the sell side, but as you can see, a lot of consolidation here on the 1 hour. So because of this consolidation, I'm looking at this as a balanced price range, right? Like we've worked this price range a lot. That I don't really think that price will want to go through it and go for the sell side. Definitely could, but I'm more in favor of the upside. And we do have relative equal highs here, even though we poked up above this high for a little bit. Could be due for a little bit of retracement, maybe coming back down into this weekly BISI. But I'm looking at these relative equal highs here. And of course, you see this line. If we zoom out a little bit more, it's going to be this high right here. And we do have higher targets as well. Remember, if we start going above this weekly SIBI, this olive color, then we will be going up higher. But until we do, we want to stay a little bit more neutral. Going down to the 5-minute, you can't really see much. So I'm going to zoom out to the 15-minute real quick. Of course, relative equal highs up here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the buy side up here. Sell side, this drop down here could be good enough. But yeah, we'll go ahead and mark this out. I don't really want to see this get swept if we're going to go up higher, but definitely could and still go higher. So just going to go ahead and walk through today's action. Monday could, be a little bit quiet. So definitely want to be a little bit more patient. All right, so now it is 10 o'clock. Taking a look at the chart real quick, you can see not much has happened. Pre-market, a lot of consolidation. Even the 9:30 open, there were some big candles, but you can see a lot of overlap here. So no inefficiencies, very choppy action this morning. This is kind of giving me a sign, since our opening range is very, very choppy, that we may be going in for another sideways day, some consolidation. Of course, September was consolidation. October could be more consolidation. Definitely want to be more patient, and I'm perfectly fine not taking a trade today. All right, so 11 o'clock. So far, you can see not much has happened. We created this high, took out this low. We took out this high, and here we created a very small fair value gap. Technically, it did go up to this high, so, this wouldn't have worked out. But now we are potentially getting another fair value gap here. This is much larger and more pronounced. And if you look over here, this is like the first inefficiencies we've had since, like, I don't know, like all the way back here at 6 o'clock or so. So I'm going to go ahead and try to take a chance on this. We do have these lows down here. I think I'm just going to try and hold it to see if we can get down below this low. But let's go ahead and mark out the, now this fair value gap needs to remain intact. If it doesn't remain intact, there's not going to be a trade. So I want to take a short here, and I would be conservative because today is very choppy. We could, go above this order block, maybe go into this wick and still be okay. But from 44 to 83, about 40 points of risk. Just going to go with one contract. All right. And we'll take a short, see if we can go down below these lows. I'll move it to break even, see if we could take out those lows. And let's go back to the 1 hour. How far? I mean, do we think that it's going to go down for these relative equal lows? I don't know. Maybe not on a Monday. I think the most conservative thing to do is just to take it off below these relative equal lows. That'll give you a little bit better than 101. But yeah, let's go ahead and see if this fair value gap remains intact first of all. Okay, so 11:15. This fair value gap does remain intact, and let me just double check. Yep, so here is the entry price. Now, I don't like this candle here closing in the fair value gap right away. That's definitely not something I want to see, so I'm definitely going to be aiming for this low down here. If we penetrate down below this low, definitely going to move it to break even. I have my risk up here. If I take a loss, then, well, so be it. But I'm kind of playing off of this as a confirmation fair value gap because we did have this small one, then we created another one without taking out the buy side. So confirmation fair value gap, sure, okay, this is kind of within my model right here, even though the first one wasn't that pronounced, the second one was. And just give me some time. I know it could be choppy. Like I said, we could go up to 50% of this wick. So hopefully we won't get stopped out, but we'll just see. And I'll definitely take it off below these lows right here. All right, so 12:15, my time window, my trading window is closed. As you can see, you know, we got a lot of consolidation here. You know, like I said, we could come up to 50% of this wick. That's exactly what we did. Look at how the bodies are remaining below it. I think maybe in the afternoon we could go down even more, but you know, with my time window closing here with a lot of choppiness, I'm not really happy with the price action. Let's go ahead and just take it off here. I mean, I could have, like, you know, if I put it down below here, could have taken 24.20. Sorry, I accidentally paused the video, but if I take it off below here, probably about 25 points of profit. Not going to be 1-to-1. Probably was a little bit impatient here going in too quickly, but let's go ahead and close it out. In fact, you know, I guess I could have moved it down to break even here, but let's go ahead and just say, man, do I want to give this a little bit more of a chance, you know? Because I'm kind of looking at it now. We could be coming back into this fair value gap, you know, using it as a reclaimed fair value gap. Maybe going down for this wick. But you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and play it safe. Just close it here for a very small loss. About 2 points or 1.25 points loss. Pretty much just break even. All right, so here's the spreadsheet. You can see my entry was here at 144. Here's my risk at 183. So about 40 points of risk, but I'm playing it safe. I'm going to just go ahead and take it off for a small loss. So even though it's pretty much break even, it's going to get marked as a loss on the spreadsheet. A little unfortunate. But yeah, I'm going to play it safe. This is purely a hard time stop. I gave it enough time. I probably could have just taken it off down here. Or once it goes down below this low, I could have moved to break even and just pretty much closed that break even for the day. I think we could come down for these lows. Let's go ahead and take a look at the end of the day. Let's see if it takes out those lows before hitting my stop loss. And if I did give it some more time, we could have had a good win, but I wanted to play it safe and just pretty much cut it off at break even because who knows what it was going to do. And my time window was closing. So a little unfortunate, you know, it did go above this high right here, but never really went back for this high. If I would have moved my stop, the only logical place would be to go above this last swing high. And like I said, you know, pretty much like a lot of consolidation here. It didn't really start moving until 2 o'clock. So definitely didn't want to move my, I didn't want to hold the trade all the way for the rest of the day. So break even, but it's chalked up as a loss. Let's go ahead and move into Tuesday. All right, so Tuesday morning, October 8th, 8:15 in the morning. And as you can see, this was that big drop yesterday. Consolidation after that overnight. And now we've rallied back into this inefficiency. Now, are we going to go above this order block? I'm going to go ahead and mark this with a different color. Let's say yellow. If we go above this yellow line, I'll consider that a change in the state of delivery since we have reversed this big drop down here. But remember, there are relative equal lows, so we could be going down. And if we go down below this fair value gap, which I will mark out, I'm going to keep it, let's say, a green color. I think that will be good in standing out. If we go below this fair value gap, then we could be using it as an inversion going for the sell side. But if we stay above it and have a change in state delivery, then we'll be going for the buy side. So that's kind of my idea going into today. Again, we are still stuck between the two fair value gaps here. So definitely want to, kind of maintain more of a neutral stance. All right, so a little bit after 9:30, so far nothing really happened. We just pretty much consolidated in between the two higher time frame inefficiencies. We do have sell side below these relative equal lows with a 1 hour fair value gap. Still looking for price to get into that. We've taken out the buy side so far, but you can see on the 5 minute it's very choppy here with the opening range. Still gonna wait till about 10 o'clock to see what happens. Still very choppy. This kind of leading me to think that today may not be a good day to trade either. Now we are moving up higher, poking above this line. Remember, this was the high of the order block, so kind of having a change in the state of delivery here. We are potentially creating this large fair value gap here. Now, I'm not going to take this right away, but if I see a confirmation fair value gap after seeing this being used as support, I'm willing to go ahead and take a trade long, going for some buy side targets. Zooming out to the 1 hour, what target will I be looking for? Well, these relative equal highs up here, that makes a pretty good target. There's also this high up here. This could be like maybe my break even point or like a first partial if we get a very, very small risk. But again, ideally, I want to see price come into this 1 hour fair value gap. Because it's big rally though, I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm perfectly fine if it doesn't do that. But I definitely need to see a confirmation fair value gap if we're going to go ahead and go long. All right, so no confirmation. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Those change the state of delivery. This was the buy side target above this high. We do have relative highs here. That's going to be the primary target, but I don't really like how the buy side has already been taken. But we'll see. Still going to wait for a confirmation fair value gap. We have 1, 2, 3 fair value gaps that we can confirm. Just want to keep it light and just what I mean is like I'm not going to touch the chart. I'm not going to enter into trade until I see either a confirmation here or we come down for the buy the 1 hour BISI and then we see a fair value gap. So that's kind of like my two ideas here. Again, we could be going down for the sell side and go down even lower going into this weekly BISI. All right, so we did come down into this first fair value gap and we've potentially created another fair value gap. I'm looking for price to come up for this high here. So let's zoom in a little bit. If I were to take this as a long, I want to have my risk down here below this order block. I may take an entry here. This is going to be about 40 points of risk. And then if you look up here, it's going to give me a little bit better than 1-to-1. I can go ahead and try for this if this fair value gap remains intact. However, there is a potential since we took out the bias this high one more time, we could come down and take out this swing low and come out into this inefficiency a little bit more. So I think I'm just going to take my previous advice and just be a little bit more cautious. Not going to enter into this trade right away. If it works out, great. It kind of makes me feel like my intuition is starting to, play out a little bit. Like I'm starting to get good intuition and predicting the analysis a little bit better. But if we sweep this low and then we create a fair value gap, that would be more ideal for me since we've taken some sell side. All right, and as you can see, this was a good trade here, going here at 195, and then this would be 78 points of profit, only risking about 40, so near 2-to-1. That actually would have been a pretty good trade. So unfortunately, I didn't take it. I really thought about it, but at the last minute, I pretty much just chickened out, because I thought maybe we could sweep the sell side one more time, but nope, we went ahead, took out the buy side, and even though I didn't have a winning trade on the spreadsheet, I have a winning trade in my mind. So going into the next day, I'm gonna have a little bit more confidence. And if we just take out a look at the 1 hour here, we're still stuck between these, weekly SIBI and the weekly BISI. So again, I want to be a little bit more cautious. But we'll see at the end of the day, are we going to close above the SIBI? If we do, then I'll be a little bit more confident in going bullish. If we start coming back down into this weekly BISI, then it's a little bit more, boring. It's more waiting, got to be a little bit more patient because it's telling me that we're still kind of stuck in a consolidation. All right, and the rest of the morning after taking out that buy side target, nothing happened, pretty much just consolidated. Looking at the end of the day, are we going to come down for the sell side? Nope, we are going above this buy side target again, and now we are trading at the high of the SIBI, which is a really good sign to see, because if you look at the last 90 days on the 4-hour, you can see that we did go above that SIBI, but then we're consolidating at the high of the BISI. So this is the consolidation between the two fair value gaps. Now we are coming up to the high of that SIBI once again. And if we can get a strong closure above it, that's going to let me feel like we're going to be more bullish. Looking at the 1 hour, here's about 50%. And yeah, we are closing in here in the upper, quadrant. So let's go ahead and go into the next day, Wednesday, October 9th. And let's take a look at what the morning action looks like. All right, so this is Wednesday morning, and we're pretty much consolidating in the upper half of the weekly SIBI. This 1 hour fair value gap, I'm not concerned about it anymore. I'm going to actually move it up here. Probably use this one. I know it's got swept into one time before. There is one below it. We'll adjust it if that happens. And the sell side is down here, but I don't really expect it to get traded into. We do have a fair value gap here. So let me go ahead and move this to this fair value gap. I think this is a little bit more significant for me. It's also closer nearby. I know it's small, but going down to the 15-minute, let's see if we can see any inefficiencies here. On the 15-minute, nothing really jumps out. Maybe this right here, maybe this order block. So, but currently it did tap into it. If we start getting displacement on the 15-minute, and that's kind of signaling to me that we are going to be leaving this weekly SIBI. All right, so just before 9:30, we consolidated, and then we came down around 8:30, going down below this low into that 1 hour fair value gap again, which is nice to see. And then afterwards, after dipping into this 1 hour fair value gap, rallied up 1-2 fair value gap. We confirmed this one. We don't have a secondary fair value gap. We could sweep this low. I don't want this low to get taken at 9:30 if we're going to remain bullish. And let's go ahead and zoom out to the 15-minute. What high upper target do we have? Well, there is this high here at the high of this SIBI. So keep that in the back of my mind that we have the high of the SIBI as a target. And then we do have this target up here going out to a 1 hour chart. Was that was this old high right all the way back here. And also note that the high of the SIBI, we do have these relative equal highs as well. So definitely a draw on liquidity. I'm going to go into 9:30 with a bullish bias. I don't think I'm going to be able to get into a trade. We'll have to like sweep this low, maybe come into this order block and create a fair value gap here before taking out this high. I think that's going to be a very unlikely scenario, but if that does happen, I will take the fair value gap, looking for a long, and first partial definitely has to be close to this, the high of the SIBI, and looking for this as my secondary target. All right, so 9:30, dropped down, took out this low. Are we going to go lower? Right now it's a little bit iffy. Are we going to go lower? Are we going to consolidate more in this SIBI? Just gonna play the waiting game now. All right, so 10, 15, you can see the opening range, big wicks, especially this candle right here, right? Pretty much the entire opening range was this candle. It went all the way up, went all the way down, and a lot of choppiness here, but we're finally kind of rallying up, but still so far no inefficiencies. All these candles are kind of overlapping each other. Still waiting for a fair value gap, but it does look like we are going to be heading for the high of that weekly SIBI. Perhaps even going up even higher, but maybe we can come down, create a setup here. I am going to be long biased. All right, so 10:45, we went up above the weekly SIBI. Looks like we may be leaving it, but there's not really any inefficiency here. I mean, I guess if this one confirms and we get another fair value gap here in the next few minutes, I'll look for this as my first partial. Do I have higher targets? I would love to have higher targets. So this is the first target, and then this high will be the secondary target. So yeah, potentially, if I get a fair value gap here, I'll take the very next one if we confirm here. I don't really want to see a closure below this fair value gap though. Okay, so this fair value gap did hold up. We do have bodies in it. Didn't really close below it, so that's a good sign. Created another fair value gap here. Unfortunately, it's rallying up very close to my first partial. I don't love it. I would have an entry here. And you know what? What I could do is have my stop below here. Looking at this as a breakaway gap, because we didn't really have a big inefficiency until we started moving away from the weekly SIBI. So this fair value gap could be a breakaway gap. I don't want it to get filled in. And I can have my risk down here. This would give me about a little bit less, so like 25 points of risk, which is really nice. I may go ahead and try to take it, maybe 2 contract, maybe 3, you know, looking for a higher target, since now we are leaving the SIBI. So let me go ahead and take a look at the spreadsheet. Hopefully we don't take the buy side out first. I want to get into this trade before the buy side. If it does take out the buy side, then definitely going to be lowering my size, maybe just 1 contract or 0.5% risk. And yeah, let's go ahead and see what the next hour has to bring. All right, so the buy side did get taken. Originally, I was going to take 2 contracts here, and you can see that 2 contracts will put me at a 0.72% risk. I'm going to go ahead and lower it to just 1 contract. I'm still going to take a shot at it. I want to get wicked in. I don't want to see this fair value gap close in, and then we'll see if we can run higher, but this could just be it. So that's why I'm only going to take 1 contract here. And yeah, let's see if we get picked up, or is it just going to run away from me? All right, so 12:15, my trading window is over. We did just start running away, went higher. Now it's kind of coming down. Of course, there's no more trade anymore. Time's up. So we'll just have to go on to the next day, unfortunately. So we'll erase this trade. Moving to the next day, I want that target up there on the buy side, going to the 4-hour. Let's just kind of take a look at the higher time frame here. Kind of looks like we are using the upper half of this fair value gap on the weekly, right? We went back into the SIBI. Now we're trading above it. And this little dip down to 50% of the weekly SIBI is telling me that we are using this as inversion. So going into tomorrow, maybe for the rest of the week, I'm going to be bullish bias, only looking for longs. I want to see this target get taken out. This high, I guess, is kind of reasonable, but, you know, kind of want to see this wick more. So let's make this a little bit of a gray color, just to say like, hey, I kind of like it, but I like this high a little bit more. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next day. All right, so Thursday morning, October 10th. And as you can see, after we took out the buy side target, pretty much just consolidated the rest of the day. This fair value gap on the 1 hour is no longer relevant to me. Clean up this a little bit, and we're just going to focus in on this consolidation. Buy side, relative highs up here. Sell side, don't really know. Gonna have to go down to a 15 minutes. Do keep in mind that we do have that fair value gap here close to the high of this weekly SIBI, but we'll just use the weekly SIBI as a reference point, and we'll use the sell side down here. And yeah, let's just go ahead and start walking through, seeing what can happen at 8:30, 9:30. We do have some displacement here, but not seeing any confirmation. I guess tier confirmed it a little bit, but you know, 8:30, definitely want to wait till after that. Maybe 9:30. We'll stop and evaluate it a little bit before 9:30. Maybe I'll use the 9:30 volatility, but let's just go ahead and start stepping through. Okay, so 8:30, very volatile here. Went down to the sell side, just above it. So we created relative equal highs. Technically, we'll see if we are going to break this sell side. I will love it if we do, but we could just create relative equal high, maybe come back down here a little bit and then break it later on at 9:30. All right, and as I said that, just the next few minutes, we did go down below the sell side, tap back into the weekly SIBI. Now I want to start seeing displacement to the upside. I think we've done enough damage to the downside. I want to start seeing fair value gaps to the upside. Maybe I can use the 9:30 volatility to push for the buy side here. Okay, so here we potentially have a fair value gap. I'm going to go ahead and try and take a shot if this fair value gap remains intact. We'll go in with just 1 contract. It'll be about a 30-point risk here. Just 1 contract as a feeler, and maybe I'll add to it later on if we get some good movement to the upside. Again, this fair value gap has to remain intact. And one other thing I'm keeping my eye on is this wick at 830, this lower wick. We are going into 50%, but we did technically close above it. So that's kind of leaning, factoring into my decision on trying to take a long here. But let me get rid of it just to clean the charts up a little bit. Hopefully this fair value gap remains intact and we can go in. Okay, so there's no fair value gap, so no trade. Just going to keep waiting, and we are getting close to 9:30, so maybe I have to wait till after 9:30 to see what is going on. All right, so 10 o'clock, 9:30, you know, not too much happened actually. We chopped around, went and took out the sell side one more time, and now we are changing the state delivery above this big down candle. So technically, you can go ahead and take a trade right here. There is a small fair value gap. I don't really want to see it come back into it. I think it's done enough damage. This is below the consolidation. Anyways, I'm keeping my eye on this fair value gap. I want to see price close above it, use it as inversion, then aim for the upper side or the buy side target here. But if you are trading off the change of the state of delivery right here, where it changed the state of delivery, if this candle closes above it, you know, some people think like you need a closure above. Some people just like the wick. You know, I'm not really sure. I don't really trade off the change in the state of delivery, but if you do have a long here, where would you have your risk? All the way down here. And that's going to be 68 points of risk, which is quite a lot. What I'd rather see is a fair value gap and hopefully go above this fair value gap here. Use it as an inversion fair value gap, and let's go from there. All right, so 1030 so far is using this SIBI as resistance, and very choppy action coming back into this consolidation. Not really happy to see this, but I definitely want to start seeing price creating fair value gaps to the upside and going back above this SIBI. I still think it can do that. It's just a matter of when. Maybe we're just going to consolidate for the rest of the morning, but just going to keep waiting, be patient. Let's go ahead and just keep stepping through. All right, so more consolidation, not loving the price action, but finally after 11 o'clock here, you can see the consolidation, and now we're finally getting a closure above this 5-minute SIBI. So this is leading to a lot of confidence here. I want to have my risk. I want to take a long, perhaps on this fair value gap here. So let's say I have a long going into here. Where would my, I mean, I guess the right here below this order block would be the best risk, the best stop loss placement. You want to be a little risky, I think you can move it above. So this is 79. If you can move it up here, thinking like this fair value gap is going to be a breakaway fair value gap. I don't want to see it close in. You could have 10 points less risk. I'm not sure. I'm going to keep it down here, be a little bit more conservative. This is going to be about 40 points of risk, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and just take one contract, aiming for these relative equal highs. And going out to the 1 hour, can we go higher? Maybe we'll be able to go above here. Because if you look at this as a consolidation, if you think power of 3, we have accumulation, manipulation. So if we do start going above this consolidation, I think we're going to be able to go up higher for that big expansion move. And maybe look for this right here at 537. Zooming out to the 4 hour, yeah, that 537 definitely is a very good target. So going to try aim for that. If we do go above these relative equal highs, at the very least, I'll have my stop to break even. All right, so here we are, getting close to 11:30. The fair value gap closing a little bit lower. Small fair value gap here, if you can see. It's pretty much at the high of the SIBI, so I definitely want to see this used as inversion. If we create another fair value gap, maybe I can go ahead and move my stop loss up and add one more contract. I want to definitely, you know, see price come up above these relative equal highs. Whether or not we can go up higher for this one is questionable. It is, what, 55 points above, so that's potential, but we could just take out the buy side here and be done for the day. It is 11:30. Let's see if we create another fair value gap. If we create another fair value gap, I'll reevaluate the risk, maybe add to it, to my position, and yeah, let's just continue and see. All right, so no fair value gaps here, but we did start, you know, kind of like being a little bit choppy, and then a little bit after 12 o'clock, we did rally up, created this fair value gap, and took out the buy side target here. I think because it's 12 o'clock, I mean, I'm gonna, at the very least, I want to move my stop loss all the way up here. They'll give me at least 1 to 1, but should I just take it off here entirely? I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just take it off entirely right here. Technically, it's a little bit above, but we'll just count this as a take profit at 482.25. All right, and looking at the spreadsheet here, just one contract. Here's my entry and risk. I was risking about 36 points. Got a close to 2 to 1, 1.8 to 1, and yeah, not a bad return here, 1%, and make up some of the losses. Definitely broke the losing streak, which is nice, but didn't recover all the losses from last week, so or last month actually. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for the morning because it is after my time window. Let's just go ahead and see what happens next. Okay, it is looking like it may go up even more, but okay, whatever, I'm done. And I think I read the price very well, stayed patient through all this consolidation here, didn't really have any, inkling to get in until we start seeing some displacement to the upside. Got in on the very first fair value gap, had a nice risk here, and yeah, pretty good trade overall. So let's go ahead and take a look at the end of the day. Let's see, this is Thursday, so one more day tomorrow. And yeah, we'll go into Friday and see what happens. See, okay, so you see what I mean? After taking out the buy side here, I'm glad I just took it off. We didn't get to the second target. Rest of the day, we went back down and consolidated here, closed around equilibrium. From this high, this low, that was the day's high and low, and we're kind of in the middle here. Consolidation, right equilibrium, and close slightly above it. So yeah, anyways, I think this trade was very, very good. I think I'm very proud of this trade. Let's go ahead and go into the next day. Look at the 1 hour. The buy side target has been swept. Looks like we may be coming down for the sell side target. And as long as we remain above this weekly SIBI, I'm still going to be bullish. I just don't really like how it's kind of just more consolidation. Remember, like this month could be a bunch of consolidation. Starting to rain, so if you hear some rain in the background, I apologize if that messes with the audio quality, but what can I do, right? I'm not Storm. I can't control the weather. Here's the 15-minute chart. Ugly. We have the buy side here that got swept. Sell side here got swept. Could be coming in for a consolidation Friday. So definitely going to try and keep my hand off the trigger. We do have this rally here at 8 o'clock, but I want to see what 8:30 does. I want to see what 9:30 does. I'm going to really try not to press the button until after 10 o'clock. All right, so just before 9:30, ugly. You can see this big fair value gap here. Got closed in, consolidated. Looks like we're going to sweep the sell side here. I'm going to go ahead and just mark this one out. I think we're going to sweep this. If we can just sweep this and not go down much lower, create a market structure shift above this high, I think that gives us a good chance to go for higher targets. Maybe this will be our first partial. I think that would be reasonable. But we'll have to see what 9:30 does. All right, so 9:30, we dropped down. Looks like it was initially going to go for the sell side, but we stopped short of it. We poked into the weekly SIBI, and now we're going to be kind of rallying up. But you can see on the hourly, very indecisive candle. Large wicks, no bodies barely, and yeah, it's probably not going to be a very clean price action. Probably very choppy, but I do like how we are above this 5-minute SIBI. Could be using it as inversion. Not going to draw it out. I want to see a closure above here, and then maybe create a market structure shift above this high. All right, some news at 10 o'clock apparently. Very large wicks. Here is the displacement I was looking for. We're displacing above this high. Failure swing to the bottom, so it's telling me that we are bullish. We're going up higher. We do have somewhat of relative highs here. This is definitely the first target, not the primary target. I do want to see price take out this high and take out this high here. Remember, going back, let's say on the 4 hour, it's going to be this high above here. I think that is a very reasonable target. Is it going to go for this? I don't know. It's Friday. Probably not. It could, but probably not. I mean, with this big rally, though, we could have a pretty big, strong push at the end of the week. So it's not out of the question. If we go ahead and do a projection here from this low to this high, 50% is at the relative highs. We do have -1 standard deviation here, but it's below the sell side. So not too excited for that. I'm definitely thinking that this is going to be the very first partial. let's go ahead and see if we do have a setup. This range is too big, too much of a risk. I want to see retracement back down into this fair value gap, create a secondary fair value gap for me to get into, but it may just run away and I don't have a trade today. All right, so the buy side did get taken already. Don't really know what I'm going to do. Still got about 2 hours left this morning, so just going to be patiently waiting. Maybe they'll create a secondary setup, but this could just be it. All right, so 11:15, got about an hour left. So after taking out the buy side here, when I said this could just be it, we have displayed into the downside, 2 fair value gaps, right? 2 SIBIs, went up to the second one here, potentially creating another one. If we create a confirmation fair value gap here, I could look for a short, thinking that today could be another indecisive day where we take out the buy side, and now we want to go for relative equal lows. We do have this low here. This will be the first target. Let's go ahead and draw a line. If we have, like, let's say a fair value gap here, we could try to take a short, aiming for this swing low. Once this gets taken, I definitely want to move my stop to break even, aiming for the relative equal lows, but we could just be closing at equilibrium for the rest of the day. All right, so here we go, fair value gap. Gonna have my entry here. Technically, I may have gotten in, but let's see, the high here is 429.5 and 429.5, so the same. We'll say we didn't get in yet, but if it does sweep above here, we'll go ahead and aim for a short. And I want my stop up here, so I do also like how the stop is above this SIBI. Hopefully we can use this as a reclaimed fair value gap. If it does go up that high, I don't want it to go up that high, but let's go and see if we can get a poke up here. If we take out this the sell side down here, I don't know. We'll have to create another fair value gap. Otherwise, I'm not really interested in going in again. All right, so I'm in just one contract, about 30 points of risk. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. You know, that's trading. But hopefully we can, you see this poke up here into this fair value gap. I'm just put it on the screen real quick. So I'm looking at this fair value gap to be used as a reclaimed fair value gap. And I like how my stop is close to the high. I don't want this to get traded through. Hopefully this poke is enough and we can come down for this sell side. If we take out this sell side, definitely going to be moving my stop to break even. Or we can just get stopped out. Man, the past couple of months, the trading condition has been really hard. Anyways, going to go ahead and mark in a loss for today. It's 12 o'clock, pretty much done for today. And let's just quickly go to the end of the day, 17:16, and let's take a look. So this week, let's go ahead and go. So as you can see, we did take out the buy side and then we drop back down. So still very choppy consolidation here. Let's just take a look at the hourly to see kind of what happened. Monday here, we'd have a power of 3. This move down was the manipulative move. We went back up here above Monday's high, went up. This was the expansion move and pretty much just consolidated here. So as you can see, the trading condition has been pretty rough for the past month and a half or so. You know, like if it was normal trading condition, I would think that price would come up for the buy side before we kind of close. Anyways, I was aiming for these relative equal lows, did not get that. Hopefully we can have better luck going into next week. I think we're still up. Let me check the spreadsheet real quick before we close out. All right, so that's the spreadsheet, and you can see this week we did close green, but not a lot, right? These were the 3 trades made this week. Net was $67, so probably just like a 0.5% gain this week. But as you can see, for the whole year to date, it's still above 30%. So even though we took a bunch of losses, it's still okay. We're still up on the year. But yeah, the trading condition has been very difficult. I think it will still be difficult going into the election until like maybe after November. So maybe like halfway through November. Definitely want to be careful. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me for another backtesting session. We're getting close to the end of the year, so we're chugging along quite nicely. And yeah, until I see you guys next time, safe trading.